Yes. I would be remiss not to have an opportunity to speak on what you spoke about and speak on what everybody else spoke about. In fact, I had a conversation at our last SLT meeting, and I know I run a fine line here. I was there. I worked in LAPD during Rodney King. I've been doing this for 36 years. I came here with the sole purpose to support the students and keep the students safe. It is difficult, like for you, to watch what I see on TV. I have no explanation as to why it is occurring. I have reasons to why it will still occur. I can tell you all the protesting and getting on your knees and calling Kaepernick and all the things that are done are not going to stop it. You and I both know that. In fact, there was a shooting less than 48 hours ago in Oklahoma. The reason why we run into this problem is it's going to take the chiefs of police and the elected officials to change the training and change some of the policies and the rules, and this is what this really boils down to. I have an obligation to arm my officers with not only handguns for the unfortunate case where they have to use them, but arm them with the social and emotional learning piece, arm them with other tools to the trade that they can use so they don't jump to that gun and ultimately cause the havoc that's being caused. I'm going to share a story with you that the superintendent knows about. I went and visited a school last week with David Chambliss. It was an elementary school. I walked into the third grade classroom. I was in uniform. There was a young African-American student sitting in the classroom in his table of 4 or 5. And he saw me, and he got up out of the chair, put his hands behind his head, got down on his knees in the middle of the classroom. So what am I supposed to do here? I can't go over there and talk to him because I'm going to disrupt the class. He looked at me, I looked at him. We kind of stared at each other for a second or two. He got back up, sat back in the seat, and went back to doing what he was doing. Wearing this uniform sometimes makes it very difficult for me. And I've been in elevators at 1000 Broadway and have people look at us that we're wearing blue. We're not white, we're not black, we're not Hispanic, we're blue. I'm going to tell you one more story. I was involved in a situation where there was a person in an elevator that was having a conversation with me in that elevator, and the conversation went as follows. I had some friends over at the lake the other day, and 2 cops walked by them, and they were scared to death that those cops were going to shoot them. They were scared to death. They didn't know what these cops were going to do to them. And that kills me, because I could conversely turn that around and say I was sitting at a restaurant the other day, and 2 African-American gentlemen sat next to me, and I was scared that they were going to rob me. That's how I felt being talked to by this lady in this elevator who didn't seem to think that telling me this was a big issue, or telling this to her friend with me there. If you don't think these 3 folks next to me aren't upset by this and take this seriously, if you don't think I'm upset and take this seriously, I do. It weighs on me every single day. It constantly weighs on me. The problem is, it's not going to stop until rules and statewide training and all the other attributes that need to be put together for this. It's not going to. This is not the first time you spoke about this. You spoke about it year after year after year. And it is not going to stop until finally politicians, government officials look at the training, look at the consequences, and really put forth an effort instead of the constant lip service. And I'm telling you it won't. And I'm pleading with you somehow to help me make that stop. I don't have all the answers, but the continuous dialogue is not going to stop it. You and I both know that. So I'm open for any suggestions on how I can be part of that conversation. The superintendent knows that. Your children here in the school district are going to want to have a place to vent, but they're going to ask you why. I'm the only one that can answer the questions why. I'm not defending the actions of the officers, but we need to put some of this into context, why this happens, how this happens. I can tell you I've driven home a couple times and been stopped by the police, and I sit there with my hands on the wheel of the car. As a 57-year-old white man who's a cop, I know better but to keep my hands on the car. I'm not foolish in that sense. So there are a lot of good cops, but unfortunately there are a lot of bad cops. And there was just a recent shooting in Louisiana where they killed not only the father in the car, but they killed their 6-year-old, I think, autistic son at the same time. And so I'm open to suggestions, and I'm always available to open up that dialogue any way you guys want to do it.
I appreciate you, Chief. As always, a man of integrity. I appreciate it. Thank you, brother. And you must have so much more in store. Such a good